Hello YouTube, Futurist Gamer here, and today I got a treat for you, a bunch of scientific things involving quantum science. This sounds tedious, but it's actually really amazing. What quantum has to do, quantum is an effect that has to do with subatomic scale particles and effects, I should say. They can have numerous abilities and effects that you will find that they don't seem to follow the laws of physics, to be honest. Example, one of them that we can make now, though not effectively. In theory, this can be done, and in theory, it could be done practically. We've done it already, but it's not practical. Superconductivity. To be a superconductor, you have to have zero electrical resistance, a perfect conductor of electricity, which is incredible. Not only that, they have a simple effect similar to magnetic levitation, except for it's called quantum locking. What it does is it expels magnetic fields, and if it can't expel it, it will pull it into these things called flux lines. And what flux line does is it holds itself together. It holds itself in a fixed point within the superconductor with a force of several thousand times its own weight. So, example, you can have a small little micron thick disk of the current highest temperature superconductor gets IBCO, which is a weird compound. So that's just one of the effects. It can float in midair, essentially. Now, if you make a bigger disk, you can support, say, the weight of a car. You put this on a special magnetic track, and it will function like that along the track, floating, holding an enormous amount of weight, and the only thing you have to do is create a magnetic field and have a really, really cold superconductor, because they only work at super cold temperatures. That's why it's not very practical, but we're working on it. That's the whole point. Next one is entanglement. Now, you may have heard of this one before. They actually pushed on it Futurama once. What entanglement is two particles, mainly electrons so far, are entangled in this one point. Basically, no matter how far the distance between them, if one moves, the other moves simultaneously. So this can bypass the speed of light, which is, though not especially useful now, we can use these for quantum computers, but on the scale we can do it, it's not effective. However, this could allow communication between colonies on other galaxies, which is a severely important thing, which is a good thing why we're researching this now. Quantum computers themselves are going to be far more effective than anything else we could build as well, that we can comprehend at this point. But the main thing that I can think of that would be especially beneficial would be the instantaneous communication. So that's a fun one. So next up is superposition. I believe that's what this one is called. I haven't done a whole lot of research on this one, but the main thing in it is that a good thing is it's time travel in photons. Photons have been observed to do this. What they do is they go through a course. They basically go through a path from point A to point B, and in that path there are millions of particles, atoms, things that they could bump into. So what happens is every single possible course that could be done through that path is done. All instantaneous. So this is all done, and anyone that survives, the one that survives, that actually makes it to point B from point A, becomes the only possible event. Meaning the particle is seen traveling back in time to do that exact event perfectly, without impacting. Now, this is pretty incredible. It's effectively incredibly short, because it's literally the distance between a very small area traveling the speed of light. So, very short amount of time, but it is time travel nonetheless. So, that is proof of concept, if nothing else, that time travel could, in theory, be done, at least on a very short scale. So think a 10-second rewind button. We've all wanted one. Don't say you haven't. So, those are all quantum effects. Now, one of the main things in the future that we're going to have, that you are going to be excited for, are 3D printers, only far more advanced, replicators, things that can reproduce things out of sheer matter. Now, once they get advanced enough, they not only get bigger and bigger and bigger, they can build bigger things faster and cheaper, but they have smaller and smaller and smaller points of accuracy. They can manipulate, eventually we're going to get atoms. We can manipulate atoms. Eventually we're going to be able to transmute materials in these printers, so it doesn't even matter what element it is. You can put in a piece of dirt, and in the end you're going to end up with a chunk of gold, which is going to make any material as valuable as any other. The denser the better. Gold ain't going to be nothing. You could create crystal, easy. Print a diamond out of pencil lead. Or you could create these quantum effects once we get down to subatomic scale. That's the primary focus. Once we understand enough about these quantum effects and can manipulate them, we can do amazing things. There's more out there, we just haven't discovered them. These are effects that we can utilize incredibly. They bypass the laws of physics. They don't necessarily break them. At least not that we've noticed. They just sort of bypass them, which is very, very useful. You can't go past the speed of light, but you can pop in and out of point A and then completely teleport to the other point. As long as you're not traveling through space, you can bypass time. That is proof of concept of teleportation, which is another effect, but not very effective right now. You can bend time and space, and you can travel. You can bypass the speed of light by compressing time in front of you and lengthening it behind you. You will net a speed faster than the speed of light. Your individual self will not be moving any faster. That's how you bypass the laws of physics, and that's how we gotta think. If everyone thinks like that, you gotta change your mind for the next century, and I'll see every one of you then. This is the Futurist Gamer, signing off.